My first relationship failed. I got depression, even ended up in Butavika Hospital. Didn't know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
But then after now the Butavika Hospital, the other mistake I made was now to get another person to comfort me so that, you know, I heal from the previous heartbreak, only to get pregnant again, and again he also left me. So that was now the second heartbreak. I started a business, it failed. So when he left, like I would look at, you found me working, you made me lose resign from my job.
Yes.
You found me when I was single. You found me when I was free. I would do most of the things by myself. But then now you've left me. I was getting depressed. I would think about all that. And then I ask myself where I was going to start from. That's how, slowly by slowly, with all the thoughts and regrets, that's how I ended up into depression.
What is the first process of healing?
The first process of healing is acknowledging that you really need it, and without giving excuses.
Yes, in most cases, we move to new relationships before we actually have healed from the past relationship.
Even in my work, one of the challenges I've gotten is that some people say, okay, there are some people who say for them they heal in new relationships. But for me, from my experience and personal experience, and from some of the clients I've had, it is more important for you to first heal before you enter into another relationship. Why? I was heartbroken. I had lost my self-esteem. So I needed someone to affirm me, to show me that yes, you're still important. So, and you know, when he looked at my
vulnerability.
Yes, of course he knew what I wanted to hear. So that's what he resilience, I can define it as in my own words, as the ability to keep on moving or rising even amidst the challenges, no matter how many times you fall, but you don't stay down, you keep on rising. And it is that energy that is built within you.
What inspired this title, Restored for Purpose? Has your life been purposeful? Have you ever thought what purpose means? Have you ever thought that I need to find purpose? Today with me I have Sylvia Arinda. She's the author of this nice, good book, Restored for Purpose, that talks about what living a purposeful life is and how to find your purpose. Sylvia Arinda, pleasure hosting you in Lessons My Diary.
I'm glad to be here.
Besides that, Sylvia Arinda is also a life coach. She's also a host of Safe Spaces on UBC, where you talk about indeed safe spaces.
We talk about the issues affecting women, from their identity, purpose, personal growth, and so many others. Relationships, because I know most of the ladies have issues in relationships, so we also talk about relationships.
Nice. Sylvia, if someone is seeing you for the first time, how would you describe yourself? What is your journey?
My journey has been, is a journey of purpose, because I'm still moving on along my journey. I'm a mother of two beautiful girls. I am, like she said, I'm a family life coach. I'm so passionate about empowering and supporting women, youth, and families which have been through difficult seasons to heal, grow, and move forward with purpose. Then also I'm an author of the book, like he has shared, Restored for Purpose. It's a practical guide to healing after heartbreak, restoration after betrayal, and purpose-driven living. And I'm also a host of a show on UBC Channel 24, which most of us know as U24 TV. I host a show called Safe Space. It is always on Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. So I wear so many other hats. But I'm glad to be here. And what is more important, that I was restored for purpose.
So Arinda,
Yes, please.
tell us about your journey. How did you begin the journey of finding your purpose?
I started finding my purpose. Actually, there were signs even when I was still young, but I didn't realize them like most of us do, because I noticed that even in my secondary school, I used to mentor young girls. When I was in my high school, I used to serve in the chapel, and even at school, mentoring young girls, senior 1, senior 2. And even when I reached the university, I still continued doing the same. So it continued, like it was within me before I even went into mentorship and getting serious about my purpose. It's a lot, like it was already there. And even growing up, I saw many broken families around me, and I felt like it was always a burden on my heart. So growing up, seeing families with absent fathers, then later on myself, I had my own challenges in my own marriage, and I lost it, and everything that came after that. It was like a preparation until I reached time and I was like, enough is enough. There are so many people who have gone through a lot and they don't have someone to talk to. And I felt I would be their voice, not speaking out of the victims as a victim, but as someone who has overcome, so that others can learn from what I've gone through. So after the university, I went into marriage. I got challenges. My first relationship failed. I got depression. I even went to, you people, heartbreak. I got a very bad heartbreak after my first relationship ended, which was, I had cohabited, and I even ended up in Butabika Hospital. I took myself there, but it was just depression. Only that at that time, I didn't know exactly what to do. But then after now the Butabika Hospital, the other mistake I made was now to get another person to comfort me, so that, you know, I heal from the previous heartbreak, only to get pregnant again, and again he also left me. So that was now the second heartbreak. And then after that, I went into healing. I was struggling with 2 children alone. By the time I really went for mentorship, I had seen a lot and I had started healing. So I felt I would share my story. And indeed, when I started sharing my story, most of the women reached out who were going through the same, and many have been helped through my sharing.
What are the biggest challenges you faced that caused that depression?
The biggest challenge was when I was getting married. I didn't get married the right way. And I always tell women, if you're getting into a relationship, don't get into a relationship because of the other person or because of their promises. Be ready yourself. Myself, I had put myself on pressure. Because I started when I was a bit old. So I finished campus when I was coming to 26 years. And I had put myself on timeline that by 35, I should have finished giving birth. I should be having 4 children. Like, I had a lot of plans. And then by the time I was finishing campus, I didn't get the right person I wanted. Because I was in engineering, and I never wanted to get married to an engineer. Funny enough.
Why not an engineer?
No, I was on construction sites. I used to see what engineers were doing. So I didn't really like
an
engineer. Yet I started working when I was still studying in second year. I was studying with engineers. I was working with engineers. So I had no other place where I would find someone who's not an engineer. So getting this person, he was my OB. We had studied together O level. So we met at church, and I felt I knew him because we had studied together for 4 years. So I decided, we didn't even date for long. I felt I knew him, and then he came at the time, you know, this time when you like, yes, I need to get, you know, the time is up for you. The timelines you put on yourself. The time is up, and you don't have a serious person. And then the serious people who were coming were in engineering, because that's the space I was in. But then I didn't want an engineer. So this auditor comes, and I'm like, thank God he's not an engineer. So let me go with this one. So I went with him because he's the one who was available, not because he's the best person I would go with. And also another mistake I made was I didn't go the right way because we are Christians. Both of us were Christians.
Yes.
But then at that time he told me he wanted us to cohabit.
Yeah.
He wanted to do kuchala and then we cohabit.
Yeah.
But then my family didn't appreciate it because in my family I'm the fifth born, and all the other 4 people who have gotten married, they have all gotten married the right way. So cohabiting was unacceptable in my home. So they told him, if you don't have money for a wedding, at least to do a mass wedding, then you go the right way as Christians.
Yeah.
But then for me, love was in 180. He's the only one who was who was available, who was not an engineer. So I accepted and cohabited with him.
Yeah.
So when he left, now what brought the depression was I was serving in church.
Yeah.
So they were all the people were like, how can a mama, cohabit? And then I looked at the sacrifices because my family refused, but I insisted and went with him. When I cohabited, I lost my friends, the religious leaders. So now what brought the depression was I was looking at the sacrifices and I made for him, and then now he has left me. And also another thing was, because before he left, when I got pregnant, the pregnancy disturbed me. I was working because he found me working. For me, I started working in second year. I continued working. So even after campus, I was working. I got pregnant. The pregnancy disturbed me. He told me to resign. And we start a business. Even when I resigned and started a business, I started, of course, I didn't have a lot of money to start a big business. I had a mudala in Karere market. So
from the engineering,
from an engineer doing because the kind of work where I was working, it's where they retained me in second year. They're the same people I was working with up to the end. So they knew my strength. The salary was not much. But then I had, transport allowance, food, airtime, data, like everything. Yeah. So by the end of the month, actually, I would find I have my full salary,
not touch.
plus even some allowance. So when he told me to resign, of course, when you resign, you don't resign. They don't give you the allowances. They give you only the salary. Because the allowances, they would tell us to use if it is data, they will give you a phone with data. They give you a company phone with data, with airtime, with everything. If it is transport, if it is food, you order. You go to the office and order, they bring. So when I was resigning, I was only went now with the other money that they gave me. Yeah. So even now, when I started a business, it failed because those who work in the market, you have to wake up very early. Then also you're new in the markets, you don't have enough customers. So I started making losses, and I ended up
have the experience of.
Yeah, I didn't have the experience, so I left. So when he left, like I would look at, you found me working, you made me resign from my job.
Yes.
You found me when I was single. I didn't have the burden of the pregnancy. Those who are the women understand that when you're pregnant, you're really not yourself.
Yeah.
So you found me when I was free. I would do most of the things by myself. But then now you've left me, because by the time he was leaving, I had just given birth.
Yeah.
The baby was 2 weeks. And then those 2 weeks he had I didn't have a job. You're in Nakawele. Yeah. Like I was helpless. Remember the family. I had the family at first stopped me from going back home, but then later on they accepted me back home. But still, the relationship was affected. Now most of my friends were church people. Yeah. Again, now the relationship. So he left me alone in the world, and even when I was getting depressed, I would think about all that, and then I ask myself where I was going to start from. That's how, slowly by slowly, with all the thoughts and regrets, that's how I ended up into depression.
What is the first process of healing?
The first process of healing is acknowledging that you really need it, and without giving excuses.
Yes.
Because for me at first, what even delayed my healing journey was excuses. at some point I wanted to revenge. I felt what he did, he couldn't just walk away without paying the price for it. Yes, I normally tell people that he didn't force me, but he convinced me.
Yes.
Because by the time I went against the consent of my parents who raised me from that up to where he found me, it's not that I hadn't. It's not that I just moved on. He tried to convince me, yet later on, when things turned around, he denied.
Yes.
Yeah, he denied and was like, you're the one who was pushing the relationship and all that. So all that now was also hurting me because he convinced me he was a Christian and he would tell me, for me, I can live with anyone. When I would tell him dating, because he was rushing dating, I was like, but let's take some more time. We understand each other. I was like, no, you can't understand someone. Like me, I'm a Christian. Me, I can live with anyone. So,
that's an interesting one. So Christians don't have feelings?
No, Christians who say they have God's love. There is that agape love. So they won't just behave like any other person. So with now when I would remember some of those things, and then I remember how he turned around at the end, I would feel pain. I would feel he needs to pay for it, and that delayed my healing. But when I accepted that, yes, it has happened, and I have nothing to do about it, but I have to move on because he had left, and he had gotten another woman. So I accepted and started my healing journey. Then, of course, after accepting, I had to reach out to a counselor who later became my mentor. And then I started walking my journey, worked through forgiveness. Forgiveness was also a problem because I was like, even God knows he did something wrong to me. Where do I start from? But, being a Christian, God never lets us down. Even amidst that, yes, I did all that when I was a Christian. But, God, even when we run away from him, he still
brings you back.
For him, he never leaves us. So in that process still, I used to talk to God in the night because I reached an extent that when I would tell people, they would start judging me. Others would start, laughing at me, distancing themselves because they would think maybe I was going to ask them for money. But then I had to talk to God a lot. And one night it was around 2 a.m. and I was praying. So I had like a voice. If you're Christian, you know how the voice of God can come. I was like, but God, why this? Why did all this happen? How can I forgive? And then I had a voice telling me, but for you grew up in church. Like I said, I mentored many. I was an example in school, in church, in ministry.
Yes.
But then later on, when now all that happened, I cohabited after the first one, and then again the second child, then the second father is also abandoning me. Like all that, now most of the people who were looking at me as an example started saying, if such and such a thing can happen to Arinda, what about me? So they would use me to like defend some of their negative actions. Yes, some might have even left Christ, especially like the ones I had preached to. So the voice was like, if I was able to forgive you, do you know that many people that maybe were led astray by what you went through?
Yes.
But then if I was able to forgive you, why don't you want to forgive me? And in that moment, I felt like freezing. I found myself crying. And that's where now I started forgiving him. And I continued now journaling. Because actually, what I want to say is forgiveness. You can say I've forgiven someone, but it doesn't happen. Like it's a decision,
Yeah.
The feeling already, because the pain was still there. Sometimes the excuses would come, but then I would be like, I've chosen to forgive you. And sometimes I kept on saying it, even when I would feel the pain coming, or even when I would talk to him, and because he really didn't take it easy. He didn't apologize for what he did. So it's not that it was easy to forgive. I just gave him for myself.
Yeah.
Because every time I would even just see his call, the anger would come back. Like my day would be done. Yes. So when I forgave him now, of course the anger reduced. I start slowly until time reached and we would even laugh together.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very nice. While telling me the story, it reminded me of a post I read about moving fast to heal before you really heal. Talk to us about that post. I don't really remember exactly this writing, but you were talking about how most cases we move to new relationships before we actually have healed from the past relationship.
Even in my work, one of the challenges I've gotten is that some people say, okay, there are some people who say for them they heal in new relationships. But for me, from my experience and personal experience and from some of the clients I've had, it is more important for you to first heal before you enter into another relationship. Why? When you get into this other relationship, when you're broken, first of all, you will choose for a wrong reason.
Yes.
For example, now if I'm to tell you what happened to me when I was getting this second man, I was heartbroken. I had lost my self-esteem. So I needed someone to affirm me, to show me that yes, you're still important. So, and you know, when he looked at my he got, yes, of course he knew what I wanted to hear. So that's what he he knew what I wanted to hear. So that's what exactly he told me. And in the process, he was a married man. His wife was in the village. He never told me about his family. For me, I thought now I had gotten, and there's how he used to, no, don't worry, this is for a short time. You're going to, don't think just because you have one. By that time I had one child, I had not yet conceived his child. So he was like, but don't think just because you have one child that your value has reduced. No, you are an educated woman. This is just for a short time. That's exactly
what you wanted.
That is what I wanted to hear. Because my self-esteem was you know, I'm someone who was always defined by achievements.
Okay.
I was doing well in class. I even got a government sponsorship. I was doing an engineering course. I even started working. I didn't look for a job. So like in ministry, I was serving very well. So like I was used to that life of achievement. And then boom, you get into marriage and it fails.
Yes.
So someone is looking at you and you're like, why? Like you're asking yourself why. So when he came in, I wanted now that one, like those words of affirmation. Then also I needed someone who would listen to me, because all the people I was talking to, they would judge me, they would laugh at me, they would distance themselves. But then for him, when he came, he really showed me that he was this other person who loves me the way I am. So when I'm looking at everything, when I'm looking at actually the relationship we had, everything, like I didn't come to the relationship to contribute. I just came to heal. And then now for him, I think his target was now to sleep with me. So everyone had a different target, but even at that moment I couldn't realize. But I can't say he raped me, but the way he did it was very strategic, because he saw my vulnerability. He knew what I wanted to hear, and exactly what he did, it led us to what he wanted. So when you go into relationships when you've not healed, you actually don't know, because even if the person is not the right one, you can't realize, because you're broken. And they will come and try to cover the gap, but no person can cover your wound unless you really work on it yourself. Yes. So, and even but some other people who say they heal in the relationship, or where I can say, if you are that person who heals from the relationship, number one, the person you're in the relationship with should be knowing that you're still broken. And that person should be mature enough to help you heal, not to take advantage of you. Because the mistake we make is sometimes we get these people, they also have their targets, or some people are even genuine. They just want you for love. But then now they find when you're broken. And you know, when you're broken, I've seen some women, especially single mothers, who have been broken before. She went into a relationship, maybe the marriage failed, and then the right man comes. And this man is genuine, he starts doing nice things, but because she's broken, she's like, what is now this one targeting? Like, even when someone does something nice, it's like, ah.
You're thinking about the threats.
The threats, yes. So you find someone has trust issues.
Yeah.
So you find you're bringing your past luggage into the relationship. But then now you also have nothing to offer. That's why most of the people end up giving in sex, even when it's not the right time to give sex, because they have nothing to offer. Yeah. So me, I would advise that if you're getting into a relationship, first take your time, heal, and then others, we give ourselves timeline that I want to heal in 1 month. No, healing, you don't give yourself a timeline. You do the work. The work is what defines the healing period. Because some people can take 10 years to heal, others can take 1 year. Then also it depends on the personality. I normally tell people, if you know temperaments, there are some people who are melancholics. Those people are very sensitive. They are the people who are, some people, they are always sad, like very sensitive, very critical, like.
Are they the ones who are also very emotional?
Yes.
Hope I'm not a temperament.
No. You need to do that testing, maybe one of them. But then, why I don't like saying that emotional? I believe a person who is emotional is a person who cannot easily control their emotions.
Okay.
But when no, but that's the right word most of the people use.
Yeah, you're so emotional.
Yes, and even I'm that person also, by the way. That's why I easily went into depression. Yeah, but because for us, we think a lot, and actually we normally think so much about the negatives. Yeah. So, but it also has its own strength. Yeah. Because, for example, now when I'm in my counseling, some people come, others, some genuinely don't have energy, or they are not able to tell you the situation. Yeah. But then because you can sense it from their, from the few words they tell you, from the body language, from everything, like you can easily pick a lot of information from the environment because you're naturally sensitive, right? Yeah. But then now when you look at it from the negative, of course, most of the people look at it from the negative side,
the challenge, I think most people, why they look at it from the negative side, because always they call them emotional when misunderstood. Yet I believe being emotional sometimes has its strength, such as when you're emotional, you're really passionate about something, and you're really passionate about change and impact and everything, and you're really passionate about probably injustices. So someone
it is a burden. You put in effort and you really execute without much pressure.
But because you tend to release your real, like, that burden and your efforts towards something that most people probably do not see. Yeah. They call you emotional. So I don't think it's a weakness to me.
No, it is a strength, because where it becomes a weakness is now because, for example, you're able, if you go into a room, if you are a serious melancholy, you can easily read, and you're like, here, you read the energy, you read. So now the challenge comes in with how you express it. Yeah. Someone can be talking to you and you really see they are lying to you, but then now the reaction, like how you respond, now that's where, because some people, when they realize this one is lying to you, they say, you're lying to me, or maybe they shout, they do it. So that's why maybe they say they are emotional. But for me, I think there is no temperament which is perfect, because even now, like the sanguines, yes, okay, I was still saying that now the melancholies, they can easily run into depression. Even their healing can take long. It needs a lot of work, because they, like you said, when they are passionate, they put a lot of effort into something. So when they are disappointed again, they are hurt deeply. But then now you find someone like a sanguine, you can hurt them today, tomorrow they go out with another person. Like for them,
chap. Things move on.
Yes. Yeah. But then now again, the weak side is, even with a serious matter, you may tell them, today we are going to work on this and this, tomorrow they have forgotten. Every temperament has the positive side and the negative side. So I talked about this when I was explaining why some people heal faster and others take time. So it depends on the work. It can also depend on your environment, because when you're always triggered, you're in that environment which keeps on triggering you, it also has to, it delays your healing journey. So you need to set boundaries so that you know you first heal, because healing, it's not only about the work of journaling, forgiving and doing what. Sometimes it's also giving yourself space so that your heart can first get back together.
When you talked about that, it reminded me of something I read recently about, it's not in the line of healing, but it's in the line of life and pushing forward for everything that we do. Is how you need to focus on your projects. You need to pay attention to your projects, to your environment, and the people you are around. So when you're mentioning that, you reminded me that even I think in healing, it's important to understand your environment. It's also important to understand the people around you, and also it's important to understand the projects you're working on towards the healing. So moving on past that, talk to us. How do you define resilience?
Resilience, I can define it as, in my own words, as the ability to keep on moving or rising even amidst the challenges, no matter how many times you fall, but you don't stay down, you keep on rising. And it is that energy that is built within you. So I reached an extent where my life was between me and God. Because everyone I would talk to, they would judge me. So, and you know, there's a way how God gives you strength. Because I would reach somewhere. Remember, he left, the father of the first one left when I had a baby of 2 months. The father of the second one left when I conceived 3 months, because I realized I was pregnant of the second baby when the first one was making 6 months. So at this time, he stayed around trying to encourage me to abort until I refused. So around 3 months, he left. So he has left me at 3 months. I have a baby of, by that time now she was making 8 months. I'm 3 months pregnant. I don't have a job. The father of the first one, when he got to know that I got another man, he stopped supporting. He actually was demanding for his child. He wanted to take his child. So I was in the midst of all that. Remember, my family, yes, some of the people had come back supporting, but still they were not, the relationship was affected. So I would reach time and I'm like, but we're good. Why am I going through all this? And I would say, God, I can't go through it. Like, I can't manage anymore. So take control. And there's a way how I would feel a bit stronger, even when it would be hard, but I wouldn't crash. I would still move on. And I remember when I was giving birth to my second child, I stopped working around 8.5 months. And then 1 month after giving birth, I went back to work. And that's how God helped me. But in all that, there's what I can call resilience, is that strength, that ability to keep on moving, not to accept the situation to keep you down, but even when you fall, to still rise again.
Wow. Let's move on to Restored for Purpose, which is this nice book. What inspired this title, Restored for Purpose?
Restored for Purpose has two main parts. That's the restoration and the purpose bit of it. I talk about restoration because, like I said, as I'm someone who was up there high. I grew up, I was the only scientist in the family by the time. Thank God, now we have scientists in the family. But I was one of the first scientists in the family. I was doing well in school. I even got government sponsorship. I was doing well in ministry. When I started working, I was doing well. So I was someone of high achieving, I can say. Even at the stage where I was at, I was someone who was high achieving. But then life put me down. So, like the way they say, from grace to grace, from grass to grace. Me, it was from grace to grass.
You're now reminded me of those videos of TikTok of from grace to grass. So it
was from grace to grass. So it was hard. Actually, most of the people come to me because of the energy, like my determination to rise up again.
Yes.
Because the shame was too much. You would imagine how a church girl, someone who grew up in church, in school I had reached an extent. Those who studied with me know. Like in A level, I would even go to the head teacher. Me, I was a friend to the head teachers. When I would go and ask for you for the permission, they would go and they refuse to give you the permission. I go and ask on your behalf, they give you the permission. So like there's how they trusted me that when all this happened, like no one would believe that it can happen to a person like me. People thought I was going to have like a perfect marriage, perfect life, but then boom, life comes and turns around in a way we can't understand. So for me to gather that energy to raise up higher, I know it's not my own power. So it was God restoring me, because even when I was serving, impacting lives before, mentoring children, serving in church, when now God, after all that, when now God raised me, it was much more than the work I'm doing now, and the lives that have been changed now is much more than even what I did before. So I look at it as restoration. And slowly by slowly, someone who had reached an extent where people would not even want to associate with me. You find even your OBs and OGs, like everyone is running away from you. But then God has restored the relationships. You see someone, hey, I also want to be with you. I also want to do this. Someone who was not calling you, they are calling you. People who are not allowing you in their spaces, they are inviting you in their spaces. So to me, all that is restoration. And then also with my heart, like healing, after walking through this journey of healing and rebuilding my life. Because when I was broken, a lot happened in my life. I didn't know that I would smile genuinely again. I'm someone who used it to be sad all the time when I would think about whatever I've gone through. And like I said, with even my personality, I would be sad most of the time. But then after healing now, I can laugh genuinely, even more than I have some people who are in marriages who normally tell me that you are even happier than people who are married. So that is all restoration, restoring my joy, restoring my peace. I can sleep comfortably without, anything. So restoration has been a lot of work. God has really restored, and even God has restored my relationship with Him, because I've seen Him work in so many ways that I couldn't understand. So that's the restoration part. But then I get also to understand that my restoration is not for my own enjoyment, but to serve others. That's how the purpose comes in. And from the time I started, because why I got to know that whatever I went through was for my purpose. Even at the time when I was going through challenges, actually even when my family had broken down, I would counsel couples and they would bring results. Those who don't know me, but then of course those who know me, they will say, if you have the best knowledge, how come that yours failed? But then those who didn't know what I was going through, I would counsel them. They would bring the challenges, we will sit through them. Of course, the men wouldn't come at that time, but now the men come. Some of the men come. But then that time, the women would come, we sit through the challenges, they get results, they come and give me testimonies. Then I'm asking God, how come that for me, I'm helping others, theirs are, being restored, things are moving on well, but then mine has failed. But then it's now that I look back and I'm like, indeed, mine was for a purpose. Because when a woman comes and tells me that I feel like I'm running mad, I understand. By the time I was taking myself to Butabika Hospital, it's not that something. I just woke up from nowhere and went. I reached an extent I would feel myself like I'm losing my mind, and I'm like, let me take myself to a mental hospital before I run on the streets naked. So my purpose, it has been, and even when I started talking, because now mainly I talk to single parents who are going through the healing process, the co-parenting. It's a lot overcoming shame, society shame, guilt, forgiveness. It's a lot that those people go through. But I also talk to the youth. Now because my strategy is more of preventive and curative. Yes, for the youth who have not gone through those things, I normally tell girls, if you're getting, just because you're coming to 30 doesn't mean that you just go with anyone you meet along the way because you feel time has gone. Everyone has their timing. They say it's better to be late than to rush and make mistakes.
Yes.
There are some people who get, someone was using to give an example that you can get married at 23 and then you lose your marriage at 30. And then someone gets married at 32 and then remains in the marriage for the rest of their lives. So it's not about timing. We have different journeys. Let's stop comparing ourselves with other people. Just because your friends are getting married doesn't mean you also need to get married. Just because your family is pushing you, one of the challenges us as women face, you find your parents are saying, and now you finished school, what next? We need my grandchildren. Manya, what? They're like,
you're waiting for me.
Yeah, but it's not about just moving around with the pressure.
Yeah.
So it's important to know your purpose. Even at that, when you're going, do you have a future? Because one of the mistakes, like for example, myself, I went when I didn't have my own purpose. So for me, when we were dating, he used to tell me, I want this kind of family. So I had to change myself so that I fit what he wanted. Yes. But then I reached in marriage. Of course, some expectations don't come true. Like, you reach in marriage, reality comes in.
Yeah.
And then some things are not able to happen.
Yeah.
And I went there, I knew I was going to be a perfect wife. I even tried my best. When he would say, I don't like this, I would really change. And
you changed.
He told me, he used to say he wanted a businesswoman.
Yeah.
But I can do business, but my calling is not in business. Like the business I can do, yes, I can. Even what I'm doing, coaching, is a business, but I'm not this hustler of go to Mbali, get rice. It's season for rice. Now it's season for matoki. Go to Mbarara. I'm not that kind of hustler. And then probably for him, that's the kind of woman he wanted.
Yeah.
So even when I was going to resign on my job to start a business, I was trying to be that woman he wanted.
Yeah.
But then sometimes we need to know that there are some things which come naturally to us. That's why self-discovery is very important.
Yeah.
We may not, if I'm not good at business, it doesn't mean that I'm not good at anything else. Yes. My business, I normally tell people that my money may be on my lips. I come and speak, you give me money. Yes. And I've seen people like you go, me are sharing your story, and then someone touches their pocket and gives you money.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be a hustler, getting like maybe hawking earrings just because I'm a woman and I need to look for money. No.
Yeah.
Like everyone has their destiny, and God has given us different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
So it is important for you to get to know your weaknesses. Just because now for me, who is into counseling and coaching, if I get someone who is not good at that or gifted in that, doesn't mean that they are bad.
Yeah.
They have their own areas. And I remember one of my mentors used to say that we normally measure the strength of the fish. You can't measure the strength of the fish by making it climb the tree.
Yes.
Yes, if it is a fish, put it in water and see if you will move faster than it. Yes. So it's about like when it comes to the youth, like I've realized that with the youth, normally I talk to them, those even who are going to get married.
Yeah.
We sit and talk. Are you really ready?
Yeah.
Or are you just rushing because time has gone? If you're ready, like have you looked at the values? Are you compatible? Actually, some people, it's just chemistry. Just because you feel you want a man with American height, 6 packs, manya what, and then now yes, and all of a sudden you reach, yes, you get someone who has them, but character 0. Or even character is not a bad person, but you're not compatible.
Yeah.
And I want to make this clear. Sometimes compatibility is not about, that someone is bad. Someone may be good, but you're not compatible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we talk about different things. Then also now with the married couples, the same thing. There are some people, I normally get women who want to leave their marriages and they're asking me, is it worth it? He didn't do this. He didn't take me out on Valentine's. Does he love me? Honestly, is that a reason enough for you to leave your marriage?
Guilty as served.
Yeah. So there are so many things with the couples. Then also I've gotten now people who are successful in business, in career, in other things, but then they have failed in marriages. And then someone asks you at work, I've led groups, I've led teams and done what, but my own marriage has failed. And you feel they are like failures, but then we talk. Then also there are some companies which you find they are supporting now their workers who are going through divorce, because you can't separate work life from personal life. If you have issues at home, then there's no way how you're going to be stable at work. Then also sometimes you find they bring to me children, maybe children who have grown up in broken families, or even children in normal families, because also one of the things I'm really passionate about is to support these children to realize purpose when they are still young. Because purpose gives you direction. You find, you ask a woman, what do you want? What is your dream? What are your dreams? Getting married to a rich man who is this and then, like, you find that, what if that rich man doesn't come? What are you going to do? Like, you find they have nothing. But when you ask them, you find they want a rich man, but does that rich man want them? What value are you going to add to them? So you want someone, you have a list. Most of us have a list of the qualities we want, but then we've not worked on ourselves to be fit for that person. Like, if you want someone who is a rich man or who has studied or done whatever you want, are you the right person that person would like? So that is why, like, with my purpose, like, I discovered that whatever I've gone through, whether it is failing after being successful, whether it is having challenges in my marriage, whether it is in every area, parenting, because co-parenting, being someone who has children from two different fathers, it has also not been easy. But then along the way, I've learned a lot. So I've got to realize that every step I take, everything I do, my life has been for a purpose, and restoring me, it has really been for a purpose. So that is what inspired